that work tonight. Now, I don't care. Everybody can see this one here. I don't care. This is what they want us to follow. This is what they want us to follow. This is what they've been teaching. They still stand on it. They're not back. They double down on teaching. You can rape women and have sex with children. Press play. How dare you bring our bishop up that's changing lives? That women are happy and they feel safe.
Bishop Nate is changing lives. The women are happy and they feel safe. When we see all these videos of black women, they ain't got no husbands, they ain't got nobody with them, they worried and they scared. They need to see Bishop Nate. Here we go, y'all. Here we go, y'all.
That there's a place for their children not to take advantage of. Meanwhile, this is what your leaders teach them. Press play. Look, I have 2 daughters that are virgins. Remember, Lot was known for what? His righteousness, right? Yeah. Go ahead.
Now, there's nothing wrong with the Apostle Sam right there. He's breaking the scripture down. Now, they see how they got it. Vernon Brown, Tahar, Great Millstone. Man, weak shit, man.
Behold, now I have 2 daughters which have not known man.
They're virgins. Go ahead.
Let me, I pray you, bring them out unto you, and do ye to them as is good in your eyes.
What does that mean? You can gang rape. This is why we stay away from them. You men are disgusting. You sisters need to see why the bishop said there's hope for your children now, because we care.
Y'all. Recent research indicates that between 31% and 51% of women have fantasies in which they are forced into sex against their will. Oh no, they said it, a pedophile.
You're disgusting. You're no different from that black pastor that had the wedgie, the red shorts with the wedgie with no shoes on and his pot belly out. Not that far, not that far. I want to go to one of their students. Right there, let it play from right there.
Fantasies of women is to get raped.
Who are you?
Go ahead, do some research.
Oh my God, I've done research. You know, I'm taking classes.
Okay, look it up right now.
He said there's research. He said there's research. Look it up. Women want to get raped. Let it play.
My daughter, yeah.
We're going to take your daughters, right? They're going to be our concubines. That's right. Hey, somebody might pick you up too.
Hi, my friend.
I'll pick you up.
A lot of times you see this woman walking around proud as shit, dressed super proud. Ass out. Proud as hell, man. Yep. There's gonna come a time when the man's just gonna take it. There ain't gonna be no police out here to save him.
This is their hope for the kingdom.
All honor, praise, and glory goes to Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushua Ba'Hashem Rakah HaKodash, and double honor to the elders and apostles, the men of Great Millstone, and to the rest of the brethren on down teaching and preaching the true doctrine of Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushua Shalom Ba'Yatah Dabada, and to the Hakim and Akwatas out there repenting, to you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans whose fathers go back to one of the 12 sons of Jacob, patriarch Jacob, Yasha'Allah, Shalom to you, Mashpachah. This Shahaka Rob coming at you with a quick one. Hey, you saw the clip. You saw the clip. But I just want to go into this minute, and this is going to be a real quick hit. But I just wanted to go into it, because them dudes, let me grab this first before I do that. Right? Let's do this. Slakia. Let's do this real quick before I go into that. Let's grab this false witness, right? I'm going to show you. Or you just type in just false witness, and you see how many verses pop up. 21 verses. Now, all these verses telling you, as an Israelite man or an Israelite woman, it's telling you what not to do. This is a commandment. See? And Yahushua spoke these things too when you come here in Matthew, the 19th chapter, right? He says what? Thou shalt not bear false witness. It's one of the commandments that we should not do, man. But you got all these verses. Look at this verse, all these verses. See? Repeated again in Romans 13:9 that you should not bear false witness. See? Going all the way back down. Just 21 verses of this. That you shouldn't do this. This is something you should not do as an Israelite man or an Israelite woman. You should not bear false witness towards another Israelite. You should not bear false witness. If you saying somebody did something or they teaching something and they didn't do that and they're not teaching that, you shouldn't say it. See? And that's what you see those individuals doing. They bearing false witness on the brothers. Taking something that the brothers is teaching concerning if this act was committed in our land, the brothers teaching the true understanding, the true doctrine of what the scriptures say of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. And these individuals that be going off in the doctrine of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is bearing false witness on them brothers, man. On them elders. Dudes is wicked, man. They think it's more about money and to have more people in a congregation than it is about the true doctrine of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. They run around with this covetous spirit, but they going off in doctrine. So what is more important? The doctrine of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, or you trying to gain riches? Or you trying to gain the most people in your assembly? What's more important? The doctrine, the truth of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. That's what's important. For our people to understand have the true understanding of these scriptures, man. That's more important. That's more important than money. That's more important than anything you fucking trying to do. It's for our people to have the correct understanding of what the scriptures are saying. You might read some of the scriptures and you might not even like it. But so what? Who cares if you don't like something that's written in the scriptures? It is what it is. And having the correct understanding is what matters, man. That's what matters. Because having the correct understanding, that's going to be determined whether your ass live or die, man. Whether you be saved or not, that's going to be determined. The correct understanding is going to be determined whether your ass is saved or not. Because if you taught something wrong, your ass could be destroyed by that. See? But let me go into the last. I'm going to deal with this first part, with the last part, what the brother went into and said what's going to be happening in Babylon. Yeah, matter of fact, let me grab that Isaiah. Read that. Isaiah 13, go down to 15. Right? And it says what? Dealing with Isaiah 13 and 14. And it shall be as a trace row, and as a sheep that no man taketh up. They shall every man turn to his own people and flee into every one into his own land. Everyone that is found shall be thrust through, and everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. Their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes, and their houses shall be spoiled, and their wives ravished. See, so this is telling you right here what's going to happen in Babylon the Great. What's going to be going on with these Edomite motherfucking women. And hell, for you Israelite women, do you want to lay down with Edomites and shit? Guess what? It's going to be motherfuckers that's going to take you. That's going to ravish you. Now, those of us in this truth, we're not going to be doing that shit. We're not going to be running with a multitude to do evil. See? But the point is, this is going to be happening here in Babylon. See? So when it comes to what the brother said, the last clip, the brother said, yeah, it's in Babylon. These people this is what's going to happen there. Ain't no police going to be around, and y'all going to get ravished, and that's what's going to happen. See? And now going into Deuteronomy 21 pertains to what we going to do to our captives. When we captive, what we going to do to our captives? What you think this is talking about right here? You know? What you think this is talking about in verse 13? When it says, and she shall put off the raiment of her captivity from off her, and she shall remain in thy house, and bewail her father and her mother, for a full month. And after that, thou shalt go in unto her, and you shall be her husband, and she shall be thy wife, meaning that lesser wife, that concubine. This is a captive. When you go into her, you think that's consensual? No, that's gonna be unconsensual. It's gonna be against her will. But what can she do? She ain't gonna be able to do nothing. Just like our women weren't able to do nothing, their women not gonna be able to do nothing when we get their asses captives. Our women wasn't being able to do nothing. And neither did your ass was able to do anything when your woman was ravished by these Edomites. See? So you think the Most High gonna have that done to his people, but he not gonna do them, he not gonna recompense them back for what they did to us? Man, you stupid as hell. So that's going to happen. See, and ain't no brother gonna be running around uh 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 right taking no raping no damn Israelite women. See, now let's go into that Deuteronomy right quick, because this was gonna happen, right? Deuteronomy, the 22nd chapter. But I want to grab this in the NLT because these people understood. Matter of fact, first, let me do this. Let's go down to it. Deuteronomy 23. And this is what the elders to be teaching the truth of the scriptures, man. Now, you got other individuals, they trying to, play favoritism with these damn women and appease these women and make them feel comfortable. No, no. What makes your ass comfortable is the word of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. And if you don't like it, then that's your bad. If you don't like it, it's a bunch of things that you might hear in the scriptures and you might not like it, but so fucking what? You either with him or you're against him. Right? But let's grab this. Now, verse 13 down to 22 is concerning what? An Israelite brother getting an Israelite woman and you going into her and then you bear false witness on her and say that she wasn't a virgin, that she wasn't a virgin, somebody touched her. Guess what? Inquisition gonna be made. You gonna be found out that you was lying on her, that she wasn't touched. You just got some and you were trying to get rid of her. You ain't gonna be able to do that. See, but I'm gonna jump down to the point that I want. See, because this is what the elders gonna be teaching concerning what the doctrine of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, what it says, the truth. And these guys are bearing false witness on these guys and saying that they're teaching that you could go out and rape women and calling them rapists. Them brothers, you bearing false witness on them guys. Them brothers ain't raped nobody. You literally bearing false witness on individuals, and then you thinking what you doing ain't nothing wrong with it. And that's a very strong offense right there. You can be put to death for bearing false witness on somebody. Whatever judgment was passed down for that person, if you found out that you was telling a lie concerning that, you received the judgment. And if that judgment was death, you took upon that death to yourself. Whatever the judgment was, if it was 40 stripes, you got beat 40 times. You took 40 licks, severe licks at that. Whatever the judgment was, if the judgment was you to have your things taken from you and you moved out of your property, hey, everything was taken from you. But let me get to it though. Deuteronomy. And when you come to the 22nd verse, this is talking about the act of adultery. See? Meaning these two people are going to get put to death. Because why? Why are you going to get put to death? Because you committed adultery. That husband went into another man's wife, or that wife that was already taken gave up the pussy to another man. You're going to be taken out. And that was a judgment. See? Now, when you go down to verse 25, this is dealing with what the elders be teaching pertaining to the true doctrine of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Deuteronomy 22 at verse 25. This is concerning what? It says what? Now, I'm going to read this here and then I'm going to go to the NIV and read it. Because these people, they understood the translation. That it's the same act being committed. Here, the same act in verse 25 is the same act that's being committed in verse 28. It's the same act. See? But IUIC would have you think that, no, it's not the same act. One act was committed, and that they would teach you that act was committed in verse 25, and that man was put to death. He was put to death for what he did, for him raping a woman. No, that's they telling a lie. That's why I said it's about the true doctrine, man. It ain't about how many people you got in your assembly, how much money you want to get on. It ain't about that. It's all about the true doctrine of the word of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. That's what it's about. It's about the truth, man. And these individuals is going to fuck off, bearing false witness on brothers, and then not only that, teaching false doctrine. Every which way you turn with these guys is going off. But the simple don't care nothing about that. Because the simple, they also got a covetous spirit with a worldly ass mindset. See? But let's read this. Deuteronomy 22 and 25. But if a man find a betrothed damsel in the field, and the man force her, and lie with her. When he said he forced her, what did he do when he forced her? Raped her, right? And lied with her. Then the man only that lied with her shall die. Why? They will say, it's because he raped her. No, it's not, motherfucker. You lying ass motherfuckers. See? It's all about the true doctrine, man. But unto the damsel thou shalt do nothing. There is in the damsel no sin worthy of death. For as when a man riseth against his neighbor, and slayeth him, even so is this matter. For he found her in the field, and the betrothed damsel cried, and there was none to save her. You see that? That's why she not going to get put to death. But the man going to get put to death. Why? Because he went into another man's property. He went into another man's possession. See? But let me go here. Verse 28. It's the same act being committed that's in verse 25. If a man find a damsel that is a virgin, which is not betrothed. You see that? This woman is not taken. She's not promised to nobody. See? And lay hold on her. The lay hold on her is the season of her. It's the same thing. He taken her. He's finna go into her. He's finna rape her. And it says what? And lie with her, and they be found. Then the man that lay with her shall give unto the damsel's father 50 shekels of silver, and she shall be his wife. Why wasn't he put to death? The same act is being committed. See? The same, and these heathens know that when they translate it from the KJV to the NLT to the NIV. Now watch this. Let's go to the NIV, right? Let's go back up to 25. It's the same act being committed. Deuteronomy 22 and 25. But if out in the country a man happens to meet a young woman, pledged to be married, and rapes her, this woman is taken. Only the man who has done this shall die, not because he raped her. It's because why? He went into another man's wife. Just gonna tell you that. Because why? This basically goes into the act of adultery. You will be killed for the act of adultery. See? Now it says what? Do nothing to the woman. She has committed no sin deserving death. This case is like that of one who attacks and murders a neighbor. For the man found the young woman out in the country, and thought to and though the betrothed young Slakia, and though the betrothed woman screamed, what did she do? She screamed. There was no one to rescue her. See, so this woman that was taken, she screamed out against him. That's the only reason why she wasn't put to death. But he was put to death because why? She told him, she screamed to him, no, I'm taking, I'm married, I'm taking, and he still went into her. This is why he was killed, because he went into another man's possession. And it says what? If a man, verse 28, if a man happen to meet a virgin who is not pledged to be married and rapes her. See, it's the same act being committed, and they know that. See, just because one said force in the KJV, one said force her, that's rape. And then another one say lay hold on her. It's the same thing. Lay hold goes into seize. When you seize something, that means you taking something against the will of that thing that you taking it from. That's what seize goes into. If I come seize you and the police come seize you and they put some cuffs on your ass, they seizing you. What? They taking you against your will. That's the same thing with that lay hold on. It means to seize. Seize means to rape. But they understood this, and that's why they put in this translation. It's the same thing. The same act being committed. Deuteronomy 22 and 28. If a man happens to meet a virgin who is not betrothed to be married and rapes her, and they are discovered, he shall pay her father 50 shekels of silver. He must marry the young woman, for he has violated her, meaning raped her. He can never divorce her as long as he lives. You see that? So the same act was committed in verse 28 to verse 25, but the only difference is the woman in verse 25, she was already betrothed. The woman in verse 28, she was not. See? The man in verse 28, he wasn't killed. he had to take her as his wife, and he can't get rid of her all the days of his life. He wasn't killed. Because why? He didn't commit adultery. He didn't go into another man's property. See? And that's the true doctrine. And that's all the elders saying. They just teaching you, saying, when an Israelite man did this to an Israelite sister in the day when we was in our land, this is a thing that must be done. Take the 550 shekels of silver for the dowry of a virgin. That's it. And then IUIC would have you think that, oh, well, see, and she cried out. How would anybody know that she cried out? Why? Because inquisition would be made. That was the reason for the Urim and the Thummim. Because when the inquisition, which is a questioning, would be made, she would be questioned by the priest. They would question her and say, okay, well, did you scream out? I screamed out against this man. Before she could be put to death, they would question them. You would be questioned. You would just be, okay, you committed adultery. Y'all found her, okay? No, them people can be lying. So what an inquisition would be made with the priest, which going into the Urim and the Thummim. Meaning what? The light, matter of fact, let me grab that real quick. The white stone would be truth, and the black stone would light up for false. See? And the question will be made to Yahweh Shem Yahushua concerning the particular situation, if this person was telling the truth or not. The white stone will light up for the truth, the black stone will light up for false, right? And this will be done in this questioning for a particular situation like that, right? So individuals say, well, how did you know she cried out? Because she would she would tell you that I told him stop. I told him I was taken already. I told him I was married, and he still did it. The question will be made. It will be determined by the Urim and the Thummim whether she was telling the truth or not. If it come to find out that she was telling the truth, she ain't gonna receive the judgment of being put to death. That's how that situation will be taken care of, man. But you got individuals to be, and how would you know that she cried out? She wouldn't know that, so it ain't rape. It ain't rape. It's just he did this and he did. They just stupid, man. Everything is already in the scriptures. All you gotta do is just go to it. Well, let me read this right there, pertaining to the Urim and Thummim. And it says what? Exodus 20, Slakia. Exodus 28, and matter of fact, let me go back to the KJV right quick. Right? And let's grab that. Exodus 28 and 30. And it says, and thou shalt put in the breastplate of judgment. Of what? Of judgment. The Urim and the Thummim. And they shall be upon Aaron's heart when he goeth in before Yahweh. And Aaron shall bear the judgment of the children of Israel upon his heart before the Lord Yahweh continually. You see that? You see? Numbers 27 and 21. And he shall stand before Eleazar the priest, meaning what? A person pertaining to the judgment. Matter of fact, let's go up one. And it says what? Let's start at 19. And set him before Eleazar the priest, and before all the congregation, and give him a charge in their sight. And there, it's like, and thou shalt put some of thy honor upon him, that all the congregation of the children of Israel may be obedient. Let's come down to it now. And he shall stand before Eleazar the priest, who shall ask counsel for him after the judgment of Urim before the Lord. Meaning, is this thing true or false, and what this so and so forth. At his word shall they go out, and at his word shall they come in, both he and all the children of Israel with him, even all the congregation. You see? So that's the point that I just wanted to make, dealing with that Urim and the Thummim. Meaning, the inquisition will be made. Meaning the questioning will be happening. So dealing with that sister that cried out against him, the inquisition will be made. Said, okay, you said you cried out. Now, let's go see. You would go to the priest, and you would say to the priest, look, before we carry out this judgment, we need to find out what is true. Can you ask the Lord, did this woman cry out against this man that raped her, that was taking it? Did she cry out against him to determine whether she was guilty of adultery or not? It would come back whether it was true or false what she said. And that's how the judgment would be made in that situation. See? So sitting back and saying, oh, well, how would they know that she cried out in the field and all this shit? Because inquisition would be made, man. Yahweh would tell the truth, he will reveal the truth concerning that situation. Before you're able to carry out that judgment and just put that innocent sister to death when she actually cried out against this motherfucker. So individuals need to cut that out, man. It's about the true doctrine of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. And individuals need to cut that out about bearing false witness on brothers. Talking about brothers teaching that you could go out and just rape sisters, Israelite sisters, and man, ain't nobody doing no shit like that, man. You dudes are just corrupt, you dudes just wicked, and you dudes have been bought and paid for by the damn devil. Now let's get this in Genesis 19, dealing with Lot and his two daughters. And it says what? Genesis 19:1. And there came two angels to Sodom at evening, and Lot sat in the gate of Sodom. And Lot, seeing them, rose up to meet them, and he bowed himself with his face towards the ground. And he said, behold, now, my lords, turn in, I pray you, into your servant's house, and tarry all night, and wash your feet, and ye shall rise up early and go on your ways. And they said, nay, but we will abide in the street all night. And he pressed upon them greatly, and they turned in unto him, and entered into his house. And he made them a feast, and did bake unleavened bread, and they did eat. But before they lay down, the men of Sodom, the men of the city, even the men of Sodom, compassed the house round, both old and young, all the people from every quarter. And they called unto Lot, and said unto him, where are the men which came in to thee this night? Bring them out unto us, that we may know them. And Lot went out of the door unto them, and shut the door after him, and said, I pray you, brethren, do not so wickedly. Behold, now I have two daughters, which have not known men. Let me, I pray you, bring them out unto you, and do ye to them as is good in your eyes. Only unto these men do nothing, for therefore came they under the shadow of my roof. Now, what was those damn people in Sodom was intended to do to those two angels that came? Wasn't they not attempted to fulfill their sexual desires upon them? That's why he said what? They didn't know. What they was going to do to them? Was they going to have consensual intercourse with men? They was going to already go do one abominable thing, which is something that shouldn't be done. Men on men working that which is unseemly. See, not only was they going to do that, but they was going to, he said, here, take my daughters. Do to them what you was going to do to them. So what was they going to do to those men? Wasn't not they going to force themselves upon them? Yes, they was. So he said, look, force yourselves upon my daughters. Don't do this abominable act. Did he say was the abominable act was them forcing themselves upon his daughters? No, the abominable act was what? Them doing that abominable act, doing that to men. That was the abominable act of it. See, not going into the daughters was abominable forcefully, but would have been forcefully doing that to men doing that to men. That would have been the abomination. See? So he didn't say nothing pertaining to them forcing themselves upon the daughters. He said, no, don't do this abominable act to the men. Why? Because that's an abomination to do that to the men on men. See? Now, another point I want to make real quick before I end it off is when you go into Judges, right? The 19th chapter. Now, dealing with this Israelite that came and his concubine went down into Benjamin's territory, right? And they rested a night there, but then the same act is being committed here. So, but why did all hell break loose between our people, between the Benjamites and the northern kingdom? Why did all hell break loose? Because what? Was it because, why was those men worthy of death for what they did? Because they did two things wrong. They went into another man's property, a woman that was taken, not because they raped her, but it's because they went into another man's possession, another man's property, another man's woman, and also because they committed murder. That woman died because of what they did. Beat her and raped her. See? So she died because they beat her all night and raped her. See? But why the judgment was because why? The punishment was on them because they went into another man's woman, not because she was not taken, because she was taken. And the woman died because of what they did to her. Beat her and shit. See? And the same act was kidding me. Let's go down to the point though. Right? Come down to the point. Let's see. Right here. We'll start at 21. Judges 19 and 21. So he brought him into his house and gave provender unto the asses, and they washed their feet, and did eat and drink. Now as they were making their hearts merry, behold, the men of the city, certain men of Belial, meaning what? Israelites from the tribe of Benjamin that was worshiping idols, beset the house round about, and beat at the door, and spake to the master of the house, the old man, saying, bring forth the men that came that came into thy house, that we may know them. Now what he said, that we may know them, what you think they were trying to do? They were trying to do the same thing that they was doing back then in Sodom. See? And it says what? And the men, the master of the house, went out unto them, and said unto them, nay, my brethren, nay, I pray you, do not so wickedly, seeing that this man is come into my house. Do not this folly. See, and what was the folly? The folly was an abominable act that they were trying to do. Men on men working that which is unseemly. that's what the folly was, right? And it says what? Behold, here is my daughter. So wait a minute. What you think they was going to do to those men? They wanted to do what? They wanted to rape those men. See? But what did he do right here? He was giving up his maiden, his daughter, a maiden. He was giving his daughter and saying, look, you can do this to my daughters. Just don't do this vile thing to these men. But you can do it to my daughter. He didn't say that, here, you will take it to my daughter and then I'm going to kill your ass after you do this to my daughter. No, he was offering up his daughter for them to carry out that act on his daughter. And his concubine. Them I will bring out now, and humble ye them, and do with them what seemed good unto you. The same thing, right? That Lot pushed out his daughters and said, here, look, y'all do that shit to my daughters. Take them. But don't try to take these men. And I mean take, meaning don't try to RAP these men. RAPE my daughters. See? It's the same act being committed, right? And it says, humble ye them, and do with them what seemed good unto you, but unto this man do not so vile a thing. See? Telling them, look, don't rape these men. Don't do that. That's abominable. But here, you can go ahead and rape my daughter, and then this man's concubine. See? And that's the point I wanted though, man. It's showing that in those days and that time, as long as that woman didn't belong to nobody, and that's the reason why when you read down into the chapter, when you go to the 20th chapter, all hell was breaking loose with the Benjamites and those of my people of the northern kingdom. Warring like a motherfucker. Many men lost their lives because of that. Why? Because they didn't want to give up those men of the tribe of Benjamin that did those things. And they was worthy of death. Why? Because one, they went into another man's wife, another man's woman, concubine, woman, wife. And then on top of that, she died because they beat her. So that was, if you beat somebody and that person died because you beat them, what is that? That's murder. So this is why the judgment was going to be carried out on them. Not because they raped a woman that was not taken. No, they raped a woman that was taken, that was the property of another man. And also they beat her and she died, so that was murder. See? See? But they didn't get put to death when this man was offering up his daughter to them. For them, he said, no, rape my daughter. Don't do this to these men. To this man that came into my house. Don't rape him. You can rape my daughter, but don't do it to him. They didn't wasn't killed. Benjamites wasn't killed because they was offered to rape this man's daughter that wasn't taken. When it said she was a maiden, meaning she wasn't taken by nobody. See, so it's about understanding the scriptures, man. It's about having understanding, man. It ain't about just trying to make something sound like the way you want it to sound like. See, it's about having understanding. And I'm going to end it off there. Shalom.